Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are watching me do one of my daily painting pieces. It's a little habit that I started at the beginning of the year. It was basically just paint every day, and just a good way to like try out new ideas, um, try out ideas for things, techniques that I've wanted to try or been being inspired by other artists. And yeah, it's just kind of it's a good healthy habit. I really like it. So this one, a lot of times I don't really do a whole lot of planning with my daily paintings. Sometimes in like as I'm falling asleep, before I fall asleep, but as I'm falling asleep, I'll get these images in my head of just like splashes of color or certain compositions, and if I'm lucky, I'll remember by the next day, and I'll be able to try them out. Or there's an artist here on YouTube called Chris Loud. He has a thing you can buy from him that has like 50 different composition ideas. Most of them have like predetermined color palettes, and just say, try and use these shapes, or try and use lines, or use color contrast to make something. And they're a good way to just kind of get started with something. So yeah, generally with these, I don't have too much of an idea of what I'm doing, but I do like a little bit of restriction because that kind of helps me get going in the right direction. So a lot of times they'll just be more abstract expressionist stuff. Sometimes they do end up turning out like landscapes, which this one sort of did. Generally, if I end up using more like natural color palettes, they'll end up trending that way. If I'm using greens and browns and some like rusty reds and stuff, like it's kind of where they end up. But if I'm doing like bright colors like turquoise and blue and yellows, like I might just kind of go crazy with it and do something a little more off the wall. So, but this one ended up being more nature inspired, a little more nature themed, which I really liked it by the end. Yeah, usually with my daily paintings, it's just kind of whatever comes to mind. I try not to be too limiting with what I do. I try not to be too, constrictive with what I do. And generally, I think it turns out okay. This one I was feeling kind of like I would try something, and I think I would just overwork it a little bit. I would just go a little too far, like with that blue down around the bottom that I ended up like doing a lot of scraping on. It it looked cool, like with the initial scraping, and then I did the lines, and that didn't really, I didn't really like where that went. So yeah, I'll end up going over it with some browns and stuff here in a moment. But that's kind of the cool thing about it. It's like you just try different things and see what works, see what doesn't. If it works, cool. If not, I mean, you can just go over it with more paint. And that's kind of what I end up doing here is go over with some dark brown, and then I mix up some lighter brown and go over it with that. And so, it is what it is. The only thing that I don't really like is just I'm using canvas paper that's taped down to this wooden board, and like with enough paint on it, it kind of starts to buckle a little bit. You can't tell, but once you start getting the paint, the tape off, you might be able to see it. But this is kind of my favorite part, is pulling the tape off, because it's really messy around the sides, and then once you get all the tape off, by the time you get that last one, it's nicely framed on all sides by the white, and you have clean edges. And like always, I sign and date it. So, and here I'll show you some picture of it, a little bit of close up, and yeah, if you ever want to buy one of these, they're in my Etsy store. I try to have them all listed as soon as I'm done with it, but you know, sometimes the habit is the hardest part to start. So if you don't see it there, just give it a couple days, and you know, or if you don't see it after a while, you can send me a message here on YouTube or follow my Instagram or something. Because sometimes people do end up buying these before I can list them. So yeah, thanks for watching, and please subscribe. I'll be showing more of these in the future if the reception is well, and if the reception isn't well, then I'll probably still doing it. So, all right, thanks.